Yes, people, we're back, and it's been a mad 24 hours in the news of Arsenal. There's been a lot that's happened. We're going to have to discuss with Lee what's been happening in the world of Arsenal. We're going to talk Trossard, we're going to talk transfers, we're going to talk injuries, we're going to talk Havertz, and we're going to talk Leeds. Yeah, we're in for a bit of a show, Lee. How you been, mate?
Yeah. Yeah, like, you know what I mean? And this is the unbelievable thing about football, like, you know what I mean? We were speaking yesterday and saying, there ain't a lot to talk about, really, like, nothing really happening. Next day, bosh, it's all happened today, like, you know what I mean? And I'm going to say, not good for us. You know what I
No,
mean?
it ain't good for us, bro. It ain't. We're going to talk about it. Make sure you hit like, hit subscribe. Big up to Curtis for the raid. Really appreciate that. We've got 300 people waiting, which is mad. So everyone wants to know what we think about the news, and I want to get your thoughts as well, which is why we're going to do a bit of a Q&A today. We're going to talk about some topics and get your questions in, people. If you want to throw in a super chat, it will go to the front of the queue. Otherwise, make sure you put a Q at the start. Lee, we might as well start with the Havertz stuff, man. My question is simple. Mate. Do we have to look at the training or something? Because how has this guy got injured, right, after coming off the back of a substitute performance at Manchester United and looking pretty good, you know, fitness-wise, as far as I was concerned, looking back into the swing of it. I said we were going to get injuries again this season. 3 of our players have got 10-inch scars down their hamstrings. And one of them has got injured on game week 1. And it looks like a bad one. It sounds like a bad one. The reason it sounds like a bad, we don't know what it is. The prognosis is not there. However, we're looking at a striker again because it's that bad. That's the latest. So take it away.
Yeah, do you know what? Like, you know, slap me old bald head on this one, because I was here on Sunday saying, like, it's unbelievable. We only had Jesus out injured on at the weekend. You know, everybody else available. Like, you know what I mean? Leaving players behind and whatever, and then within one game, bosh. And I think it's a big blow. You know what I mean? People can't. You know, I know a lot of people don't like Havertz and for whatever reason and that. But as backups go, and that's what, you know, he's a good backup and he's a good option for us. You know what I mean? And can play in different positions as well. If you want, he can play in a midfield role. He can play wide left. He can play up front. All of a sudden, that's gone. He's just come back, Dan, from 6 months out. So if it's anything more than 2 or 3, 4, 5 months, psychologically, that's not good. And also, you know, if you have a year out of football, I don't know how you come back from it. So I think it's a massive, massive blow, like, you know. And, you know, as you say, they've got these injuries. They've had operations to sort the hamstrings out, and I don't know what has gone on with whatever. But at the end of the day, and I think it's pretty pathetic of the club, if I'll be honest, that we better go and buy somebody now because he's injured. Like, they should have been doing that anyway. You know what I mean, they should have been doing that anyway. You know, I've got a few thoughts on this football club of late, and I'm going to keep my powder dry for a few weeks. But I'm going to do it. We're going to do a special show, me and you, where I've seen things from behind the scenes at Arsenal, and I think reasons why they're never going to win nothing.
Wow. Okay.
Right.
That's interesting.
And training regime and things like that is, like, you know, it's not the first time. If you know, it's got to be training, because at the end of the day, he's played the game Sunday. So, as far as I know, don't they have the day off on the Monday? So he's come in, has he, on the Monday?
I think he got injured Tuesday.
Right, and he's trained Tuesday and got injured. Or he's felt something in the knee, you know what I mean? I don't know. It's you know what I mean? Like, what's going on at this football club with injuries? You know, like, and that's a massive one as far as I'm concerned now. Like, right, so, and listen, people, can I get this right? People are saying, oh, let's go and hijack the Eze deal, right? If you're Eze, well, I'm coming to Arsenal. Thank you very much. You haven't wanted me all summer. I'm sorry, now you got injuries. You want to, like, you know, I mean, if I'm in, you know, Tottenham have shown interested in him also. Well, you know, it maybe not because they probably wanted to sign Gibbs White, didn't they? So I don't know, but it's an annoying thing, like, you know what I mean? Like, this is supposed to be like Havertz, by the way, when people, you know, like the cult Mikkels, that's what I call them these days, were saying, oh, he's pumped himself up and all that, like, you know what I mean? We're going to see a different like, yeah, well, he's pumped himself up and he's going to go and pump himself up some more now, like, you know what I mean? You know, so I think that Robert's just hit the nail on the head there, like, you know, let's go for Semenyo. That's for me the one I'll go for now, 100%. And
look, there's a couple of options now. Let's concentrate before we go on to the left wing, because that's another story completely. And this Trossard stuff is added to that, right? Let's just concentrate on the striker for a second, okay? Havertz is injured, sounds like a bad one. Whether that means 6 weeks, 6 months, or 6 years, I've no idea, right? However, he's going to be out for a while. They wouldn't be looking for another striker, Lee, if he was out for a couple of games, right? So he's going to be out for a long time. So forget Havertz, he's done. Jesus is crocked still. He's on grass, but we don't know what that means, right? We don't know if he means he's running or if he's smoking it, right?
On grass, yeah, like, you know what I mean? Perhaps he should be like, no, not. He should be on the vapes.
Yeah, so he is crocked, let's be real. He's not going to be done for a while. Which means Gyökeres has come in. And as Chris Hudson said this morning when he was on the phone to me, you can't play Gyökeres in his first year for 60 games. You're going to have a rotational backup option. And that is back to our friend Mikel Merino again. So
or Martinelli.
Or Martinelli. So my question is this. Do we leave it and wait for Havertz, Jesus to come back, play Merino and Martinelli or Trossard, who looks like he's staying now, through the middle? Or do we go and get a backup striker like a Vlahovic or Watkins, a Mateta, a Visser, somebody like that? What do we do now? Just a striker.
Me personally, I'll go for the wide left player, whether it be, and I would go for Semenyo, right? That's who I would go for. I think he can be got, right? And what I would do is I'd go try and get him. I would say to Bournemouth, you can have like Nelson to cover it or whatever, like, you know what I mean? Try and do that, like, you know. I would go that. I would still keep Gyökeres as the main guy, and then I would back it up with Martinelli. That's what I'd do.
Okay. So that takes me to the left wing scenario quickly. And I know we're moving on quickly here, but there's a lot of questions that are going to come in. Get your questions in, people. I will start them. We will go through them. Make sure they've got a queue at the start of them. Make sure if it's a super chat, you put it in clearly, and then that will go to the front of the queue. The left wing scenario is a strange one. Trossard has signed a new deal with Arsenal, but has not extended the deal. He's just been given a pay rise. Makes no sense to me whatsoever. I've never heard and seen it done before. First for Arsenal, first for the Premier League, maybe even the first in Europe. I've no idea. I've never heard it before, right? So that means Martinelli is going, or we're keeping Trossard and Martinelli. Which one of those is true?
Well, I don't understand this. Like, you know what I mean? I've been in football a very, very long while. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I've not got no qualms about Trossard signing a new contract and being put on more money and an extension of a year or something like that, you know, benefits us as well because we can keep him for this season and sell him the next year or whatever, like, you know. But not to add an extra year on the contract. Is that I understand it did activate did it activate an option or something? I'm not sure. I don't even know, Dan, really, like, you know what I mean?
No idea.
I've got no idea, like, you know what I mean? Like,
He'd rejected the first deal.
He's got 2 years left. Is that correct, or 1 year?
2027. Yeah, I thought it was 1, but apparently it's 2 years.
I think there was an option of another year. I think that someone told me earlier on that it was an option. Like, you know, now, if you know what an option is, or you don't know what an option of a year is, like you're given an option, and that means that the club can take up that option, or you can, like, you know.
That makes more sense then if that's what's happened. They've decided to take up that option to keep him, which makes me think no left wingers coming in though, bruv. It
Well,
makes me.
no, not necessarily so. Not necessarily so. So what can happen now is that they can take that option up and still sell him. You know what I mean? Like that could still happen then, like, you know what I mean? As if I think that it's on there, like, you know. Now, at the end of the day, if the club don't take up that option and the player don't take that option, then he's only got a year left, like, you know what I mean? So obviously, like, the club have looked at it and thought, you know what? I think that they've activated it. Arsenal have activated that year. That's what the only thing that I can see that's happened, that they've said, you know, well, we're activating it, right? So what it does, it means then that there's less pressure to sell him, like, you know what I mean, like, or whatever. So they, and also with this Havertz thing, you know what I mean, it might be that they've might have done that. Now, at the end of the day, there's nothing the player can do and nothing the club can do. Right, you know what I mean, by that, like, you know, Arsenal might be wanting to sell him and he could turn around and say, no, I'm activating that year's contract, you know what I mean, like, and his wages go up and everything. Like, I don't know the ins and outs of it, Dan, but I don't think if that is the case, if it's the case of they just give him a wage rise and it's just 1 year left on his contract, I don't understand that, you know what I mean, like, that is just Arsenal just putting, like, themselves in all sorts of trouble, like, you know what I mean, like, you know, but I it must be with a year's option, or the option's been taken up. I've only just really seen it. I can't get my head around it. Now, people are turning around and saying, oh, you know, not happy that he signed. I'm happy that he signed. I've got no problem with him. He's a good squad player. You know what I mean? Like, at the end of the day. Is he going to win you the league? No, not from the start. Is he going to win you a league as a squad player? Yeah, definitely. Squad players are very, very important. And if you look at good squad players going back all through the football, you need them. You need them, like, you know what I mean? So, but and also, like, Trossard, like, reliable. We've signed the midfield player that's injured at the moment, like, you know what I mean, and not available. And we've also now got Havertz injured as well. So we've also got Jesus who can play over there injured as well. So it does make sense to a certain degree. But I don't get with all people going mad about it, like, you know what I mean? Like, but I still think Arsenal need to strengthen down that side, a proper. Now, at the end of the day, like, Martinelli can go and back up Gyökeres, like, you know what I mean? It ain't a problem. I don't think that's a problem. That I'm happy with that, if I'll be honest. But what I would do now is that, you know, can Max Dowman play out on the left? Can Wanyeri play out on the left? That might be another option for us. But I think we need a wide play. Now, people go on to me, but go, right, and I've just seen in the chat, you know, Semenyo, why do we want him, like? You know what I mean? Right, let's get this right about things. Right. Goats me, this does, right? We've just gone and spent £52 million, right, on a Chelsea squad player, right?
Yep.
And all the Mikel Colts are singing his name, like, you know what I mean, like, and everything like that, like, you know what I mean. That's a great bit of business. So why wouldn't Semenyo at £50 million, who's a regular at Bournemouth, not be good business? Can someone come in the chat and tell me that? Why is it good business to go and get Chelsea's backup player, right, who had the worst debut I've seen since Jorginho, by the way, right? I'm not having a go at him, just saying it's a fact, right? What's wrong with him? I know who I'd want playing. No one can, you know what I mean? Like, there's another good question there. Julian Alvarez, you know, yeah, that's a good one. Good. It's a good option. I'm not saying it's not, you know, Premier proven and everything like that. Everybody goes on to me about Rodrygo. He's this and he's that and he's this and he's that. I haven't seen enough of him to say that. Like, I've seen some cause all sorts of problems against Arsenal last season. Right, I've seen him rip Liverpool apart this season. So why wouldn't we go in for him, like, you know what I mean? Like, you know, whose dream is, and he's actually come out and said his dream is to play for Arsenal. Like, you know what I mean? And 50 million ain't a bad deal, like, when you're spending 52 million on squad players. Garnacho's about, yeah, that's another one. I wouldn't be surprised, boys. I'll tell you what. I've said it. I've said it, and I've said it quietly. I've said Sancho wouldn't be a surprise. I've said that, and I don't like. You know what I mean? Like Sancho would be something that I will go. But at the end of the day, Lookman, another one. Yeah, I'm not arguing. I haven't really seen too much of Lookman, if I'll be honest. But he's done well at Atalanta. At the end of the day, Eze's gone. That boat's gone. Sailed, gone down to White Hart Lane, sailed. Like, you know what I mean? And I don't blame him. You know what I mean? Like, Arsenal have not really done enough for me to warrant that. Like, Real Madrid, yeah, watched him look very, very dangerous. No end product though. What I've seen of him, you know what I mean? Like, you know, it's an obvious choice, Lee. I get that. AC Milan and all that. Watched him against us, like very, very good. Like, you know, did score against us, but he actually miskicked it. Other than that, he went through about 3 times, and you know what I mean. Like, I had to duck twice, and I was on the halfway line. There you go.
I agree with you. I think there's so many players we're going to get linked with now in the left wing position and in the centre forward position. And look, I'm not really one for reliable sources. I'm not one that says that you have to be looking at this bloke and listening to this bloke, but this guy here has got a lot right. And apparently there's going to be breaking news at 4 p.m, which is in 10 minutes exactly, on Arsenal. Apparently Arsenal news at 4 p.m. is going to be broken. So keep an eye on Indicalia. He's going to tell us something. No idea what it's going to be. Probably that we're going to be in for a striker or something like that. Semenyo is being linked. Lookman, Leao, obviously, Rodrygo, Isak. People are saying go all in for him now and forget Rodrygo. Just go and join the race for Liverpool and try and get him. Some people are saying go and get Watkins or Mateta or Vissa or Vlahovic. We've got to do something, judges, because if we do just keep it like it is now, it is a disgrace. Let's be honest.
100%. And there's a few things that I've got to say on this, like, you know what I mean? Like, Chris, who I love, right? You know, we are cursed every season, right? We're not cursed, right? Because if we was cursed, this would have happened in September. It's not happened in September. It's happened in a transfer window, like, you know what I mean? So at the end of the day, it's not like you can't do nothing about it, right? So at the end of the day, when people say, oh, we've had it, we've not, right? This has happened. If it's going to happen, this is the time for it to happen in a transfer window, right? But let me tell you this, Kai Havertz got injured after the transfer window last season, right? He got injured, if you remember rightly, in February on the thing, right? Yeah. Jesus got injured in the transfer window, and we chose to do, and Saka got injured at the beginning of the transfer, before the transfer window opened. We done nothing, right? So it's nothing about being cursed. You've got to now, when you look back at last season, mistakes were made because we didn't do nothing. It cost us, right? So now it's happened again. Don't let it cost you. That is my thing now to Arsenal. I don't want no excuses at the end of this window that we're short or whatever. We've lost Havertz. Now, we'll find out in the next few days how serious this injury is, like, you know what I mean? Like, if it is ACL, right, then that's that you go out and you get the biggest player, because he ain't coming back. Kai Havertz is not coming back from that, right? At the end of the day, write him off. And I don't mean that nastily. That is a fact. If it's cartilage or a little bit else, and hopefully what I'm hoping it is 5 or 6 weeks that he's going to be out, different. But at the end of it, you cannot go 5, 6, 7 weeks, right, of this season with one striker. And if that happens to be, which it is Gyökeres, and he goes down, we're back to Marino, right? This club is done for, right? It's done for, right? You know what I mean? So you've got the opportunity to get it back, get it right. I believe they will do something, like, you know what I mean? Like, and at the end of the day, I don't know who they're going to go for. I've got no idea. But when I'm just putting out names, right? Ollie Watkins, right? It's just come up there. Is Ollie Watkins available? I don't think he is. You know what I mean? Aston Villa haven't got anybody. There ain't that many players available. I'm looking at reliable, like an option. When people go to me, oh, why Semenyo? I'm going, well, because he's at Bournemouth, right? You put in a proper bid for him, and I mean a proper bid for him, and you can give Nelson or Fier or somebody over there to help them out a little bit, you know what I mean, right? So I think that deal can be done. I don't know if the deal can be done for Rodrygo. Lookman may be a good deal to go for. As somebody said earlier on, you know, Julian Havertz could be a good deal for us, they're out there, you know what I mean, yeah. So there are a couple of deals to go, and it's up to Arsenal now what they're going to do. You know, if we got Watkins, I'd be happy with that, Dan. All over it. As a backup, that would be bloody brilliant. But, you know what I mean? Wizard, that's another one, you know what I mean? You know, I don't know. I you know, what would you do? It's just, you know, few people saying Watkins. You know, I don't. Watkins. They've had to sell Jacob Ramsey, haven't they? You know what I mean? This window. I don't think Aston Villa have got to sell again, Dan. I'm not sure. I don't know. Why don't we get Eddie back? You know what I mean? There's a call.
Oh dear, it's mad. What would I do now? I'd go and get Ollie Watkins. If Ollie Watkins isn't available, I'd go and get him.
Great shout.
I'd go. Wow, what a shout! That's who I'd go and get. That is who I would go and get. Jared Bowen. That is the one I would go and get. No one's mentioned him. Everyone said Mateta, Vissa. I'd go and lump. What's he going to cost? 60 million? Maybe 70. They're not going to get any less than that. He's going to be similar to Watkins. I'd take Bowen over Watkins any day of the week. Jared Bowen's more versatile. I think he's actually a better finisher. I think if he played for a better side, I think he'd actually do very well, Jared Bowen. I've got more faith in Bowen scoring more goals for Arsenal than I have Watkins, funny enough. So, yeah, I'd go for Jared Bowen. That is an unbelievable shout. I don't think he's leaving West Ham, but let's speak to Declan and say, it's your best mate. Go and get Jared Bowen over here.
When you say he's not going to leave, you know what I mean? Listen, Vlahovic is available, yeah, okay, you know what I mean?
I'd rather go Premier League proven, though. I would.
Yeah, I would. These players are not available. No players available, Dan.
Until you make them available.
Until you 100%. Make them available. So, Arsenal, you know, when you go, Bo, you go into West Ham and you make them an offer they can't refuse. Or you make Bournemouth an offer you can't refuse. Or whoever, you make an offer you can't refuse. And at the end of the day,
I think Bowen would be a brilliant shout. Brilliant shout.
You know what I mean? I don't think that we're go to him, you know what I mean? But you know, like Danny Dyer would block the move, you know what I mean? He probably would. But yeah, so you know, listen, put ourselves in a little bit of a position here, haven't we? You know what I mean? So I think we needed to strengthen deep down anyway without Havertz. Now Havertz is out, possibly for the season. It means we have to sign somebody. And you know, listen, let's just look at Eze, right? Yeah, Eze is only available because you're going to have to pay 70 million for him, and what Tottenham are. If Tottenham were going to go in there for 50 million, they wouldn't be getting him. So we've got, you know, you've got to force these clubs to go, we don't, you know what I mean? And then you turn around and go, the player, this is my big move. You know what I mean? I've got what I want to go. I don't know, but they've got to do something, Dan. They've got to do something. I think Semenyo would be more an easier option, if I'll be honest. I think, you know what I mean? I know he's just signed a new contract, but that means nothing. If he was to get him. And I think he's someone that we need, Dan, that gets the ball and carries it. You know what I mean? So I think that it would be a good move for us, you know what I mean? Jared and I'll say Martinelli done well at Liverpool.
22 season before. I'll go and get Jared Bowen. I'm just looking at it now. He's 28 years old. He got 13 goals, 8 assists last season, 16 goals, 6 the one before that. Then he had an injury-prone season. Then he had 12 goals, 10 assists. He's got over 20 goals and assists in the last 3 years, 3 out of the last 4 years. I'd go and take him, mate. I think that is Declan Rice's best mate. Get him a call. Get him over here. Can play across the front three. Wide right, wide left, up top. Let's get Jared Bowen. That is a fantastic shout. Fantastic shout.
Yeah, I'm with you. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm just trying to get up Semenya's.
What his stats?
Yeah, I just want to see how old he is. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he's 25.
Yeah, he's young. He's very young. Very young. And last season, he got 11 goals and 5 assists. Go and get both of them. Show some ambition. This is what I keep saying. I've put this out on X, and I know it's not going to happen. I just wanted to see what people's reaction was. If we had serious ownership and we had serious ambition about winning, we'd go and get Rodrygo and we'd go and join the Isak battle. We ain't going to do that. We're talking about trying to get a Premier League proven backup striker here, like or Semenyo or Bowen. You know what I mean? Like, this is it. I'll take them both. Don't get me wrong, but it's just not going to end the way we wanted it to, Judge, is it? This is a problem. We got Gyökeres and Zubimendi. That was the two that biggins. All the others are going to be a few backup players in their eyes. You know, they don't want to go and get a Morgan Rogers or an Eze or a Rodrygo, do they? You know, they were quite happy to keep it as it is. Havertz has got injured. Oh, shit, we're going to have to go and buy someone else now. And David Ornstein's come out and said this Rodrygo deal probably ain't going to happen. So, I don't know what we're going to do, mate. I don't know what we're going to do, brother. I don't understand how this is going to end now. Do you know what I mean? I really don't know how this is going to end.
No, I don't. I'm you know what I mean? Like, first and foremost, we've got to see what's the matter with Havertz. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if it's long term, which it looks like it's looking like it is, then you know, like, they've got to make a decision. The thing is, if you know, what is Havertz's position at Arsenal? Is it a backup striker, right?
One second, Lee. This news has broke. Well, this news has broke now. This 4 p.m. news. Hang on a minute.
Right. Okay.
And it's about Rodrygo. Exclusive. Rodrygo's agent is travelling to London. The agent's going to land this evening. The agent will meet with Arsenal and Liverpool to see what options can be offered to the client. The agent has requested the meetings, not the clubs. So Rodrygo's agent is pushing for a move, and he's pushing for a move to the Premier League. Looks like Arsenal and Liverpool. Now, this Indicalier guy, I didn't know nothing about until this window. And apparently this window, he's getting everything right. Even David Ornstein's been retweeting him, right? So Arsenal are clearly interested in moving for this Rodrygo deal. This is the only move that can save our window, judges. I appreciate what you're saying about Semenyo.
Yeah,
I'd love Bowen. I'd love it. This is the marquee signing that needs to save Arsenal's window. Berta needs to go and speak to this agent and get him to the Arsenal. That's what needs to happen now. Now, I don't know if this is 100% true. Manchester City are going to be all over this as well. I honestly think this is the move we need to make, mate.
So Liverpool are in for him as well, like, is that what he's saying?
Well, this Isak stuff's all kicking off, innit? And they don't know if they're getting him or not now. So maybe they'll use that money to get him, Rodrygo. And that's the problem. Manchester City and Liverpool, are they in a better position than us to get Rodrygo? Probably, because in the last 5 years, they've been winning stuff and we haven't. We've got to sell him this dream harder to get him across the line. I mean, we've done it with Declan Rice when City were in for him. So we've got to try and convince him that this is where he's coming. He's starting every game here on the left. He's playing. He's being the top dog. He is the guy. He's the marquee signing. He's the Alexis Sanchez, Mesut Ozil that, you know, we need. That's what I'm looking at, bro. Look, this might not be true, but this is the latest that this Indicalier guy is saying, and he's been reliable from what people have told me. I don't know what you think about it.
I'm looking at things here at the moment, like, you know, now they're saying whether it's true or not that Havertz got the injury during the Man United game right now. So I don't know if that's true or not. If that is true, so it can't be as a bad injury as what's first thought. So, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know how that's true. That's coming from Daily Arsenal AFC. Don't follow them or whatever. It's just come up on my timeline. So, you know, I don't know. Like, you know, Chris has tweeted just now, like, how has Havertz got injured again in training? Like, you know what I mean? Like that. So, you know, there's different
No one knows.
on this. No one knows. I think that's the fact of the matter is no one knows. Now, if he's got injured in the game, that's better for us. If you know, not because you know he finished the game. If you've got like an ACL, you can't. So it's interesting to see what we're going to be going from here. Like, you know what I mean? So you know, listen, I'm happy with that. Like Rodrygo, like we're in for the shout from him. Like, you know what I mean? We've been linked with him all season. I would be happy with that one day. It's something that we do. And if it's a loan, it's a loan. I'm not, you know, maybe we can buy him as well. That would be an option to buy. Would be good. So, you know, like, listen, Arsenal got the money. Like, let's not kid ourselves. It's not the end of the world. Like, you know what I mean? At the end of it, we have the money to get who we want to get. I think that Rodrygo's up there, as you say. Semenyo's another one. You got to put Garnacho in there, Dan, because he's available, right? Sancho is available, right? I don't know if is Lookman available. We put him in there because we think that he's available. Like, you know what I mean? So there are options there. Ollie Watkins, I'm not so sure that he is. So we're put him in it. So they've got a few there, haven't they? They've got a few. Wizard, another one that's coming in here. Yeah, he's available. Like, you know what I mean? At the right price, he's available. 28 years of age. Yeah, so he's available. So there's about 5 or 6 options there. I know, like, at the end of the day, there's a pecking order to that. But for me, I think that, you know...
Look at it. Look at this I'm about to share. This is just typical Arsenal, this. This is what I expected to hear and see. Should they be forced into the market, meaning if Havertz is out for the season, which sounds like he's going to be, sources do not expect Arsenal to react to the injury by trying to make a big money signing. Instead, the expectation is the club would look at the loan market or possible cut price options. Fuck off. If that's true, it will be one of these idiots on loan, bruv. It'll be one of these bloody Jackson on loan or St. Nicholas Jackson or Garnacho, Sancho crap. Vlahovic, it'll be one of them. It'll be one of them. It won't be Bowen or Watkins or Vissa or Mateta. Won't be Rodrygo, you know, unless this Rodrygo news is true. And we were always in for him as well. And we're looking at a lone striker to cover. I wouldn't bother. He said to me now, do you want Rodrygo coming in and a striker like Jackson? I'd say no, just give me Rodrygo and we'll put Martinelli up there. I don't want one of these crap strikers, Judge. I'm sick and tired of Sterling on deadline day and bloody, you know, players coming in that are deflating and underwhelming. You know, we've had all that crap. I don't want this again, man. If we get this again, I'm sick. If we went and got a Sancho or another Chelsea reject or something like that the last deadline day, I don't know anyone can believe these owners are good enough or anything about this club is good enough. It's not showing that ambition to win, is it? You know?
No, you know what I mean? Like, well, this is what... Listen, they didn't show that last season, Dan, and everybody still backed the club. You know what I mean? Like, you know, and when we was having a moan up and that, oh, you know, shut up and all that, like, you know what I mean? Blah, 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 like, you know what I mean? You've got an option to do something now, like, you know? And I don't care who you are, there's something got to happen, like, you know? Now, I don't know who it's going to be, Dan, like, you know what I mean? But I tell you what, if it's nothing, we know what's going to happen, like, you know? We go into this season now, as it stands, with one forward. That is not acceptable at a football club as big as Arsenal. So you can turn around and go, right, you bring in a left winger, a Rodrygo and all that, and maybe look to say that Martinelli's your backup. And I'm not against that because Martinelli done very, very well against Liverpool last season, against the best team in the league. cause them all sorts of problems up top. But he might be a better forward long term than a wide player. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see on that. So I'm not going to get too downhearted by everything at the moment. Like, you know what I mean? We've got a transfer window. Listen, if this would have happened in September, it was devastation because there's nothing we could do. We've got 2 weeks to do something now, like, you know. And I'm afraid that if it is as bad as what it is, he's going to be out for a year. You know, look at Jesus. He's never been the same since he's come back. You know, it's going to be the same for Havertz, like, you know what I mean? So you can forget about Kai coming back, like, you know. So they need to get somebody in now that's going to be long term.
Let's do some of these super chats and some of these questions, mate. There's quite a lot to get through, so I'll just chuck them to each other and work out between them. Lawrence, big up to you, bro. Hope you're well.
Is that our Lawrence?
That is Lawrence.
Just ask him about, can he confirm that, said that Arsenal were only going to get 2 points out of their first 6 games. Can you say a little hands up, say, my name is Lawrence, and I'm sorry. That's all I want to hear. Like, I was wrong. Can we have that, Lawrence, please?
Well, look, he's not happy still. He said,
right. What's he not happy about this week?
He said, after what yesterday and today, this could be the straw that broke the camel's back. All the Arteta knows best will see that Arteta is what he really is, and that's a fraud. He's also come back in to say this proves Arteta is the cancer that's killing this club. He's also come in and said, knowing dumb Teta, as he calls him, he'll go back to Chelsea and bring in Jackson. So Lawrence isn't happy. Lee, can you understand why?
But, listen, none of us are happy, Lawrence, at the end of the day. This is not on Arteta, by the way. It's what Arteta does now. Then I'll go along with that. You can't be looking at it now and blaming Arteta, like, you know what I mean? So at the end of the day, like, you know, let's see what they do. Let's see what they do, like, you know.
Let's see what we do. Brandon, big up to you, bro. True Gunners TV. Show Brandon some love. He said, nobody should be surprised by this, especially not Arsenal Football Club. With 8 players coming back from surgery, required injuries, recurring injuries. It was always inevitable. We're an absolute joke. I actually agree with Brandon here. I don't know why people are shocked that we're getting injuries and going to get him again this season. We are going to get him again. There's something wrong with the intense training, which is so perhaps where I do point the finger at Arteta, because he doesn't have to be doing this. Now, if it is that he's got a knock in the Man United game, fair play, that can happen. If it is a training injury, that's where I will point the fingers, Lee. I think that's fair.
Yeah.
So what we're doing, getting this guy crocked again when he's only just come back with a 7.5-inch scar on his hamstring. If it's a knee problem, we all know what happens with knees. Michael Owen, Rodri, these guys that just get completely done and dusted, right? So it could be a bad one. We already seen with Jesus as well, another player at our club that's gone. So I think the training regime has got to be looked at. But this better not happen to Gabriel and Saka as well this season, by the way. This better not be something that happens when someone's got a big long-term injury, because there is no season I can remember on record as an Arsenal fan or any Premier League club that's had 3 injuries of that sort of extreme due to overplaying them, which is what they did. Let's just have it right. Gabriel was playing, we just beat him PSV 7-1. Why? Havertz has been playing every minute of every game. Why? Saka, every minute of every game. Preston, Bolton, bloody 5-0 up against Lons, wherever it was in the chat, playing. Why? This is down to Mikel Arteta. That's where I can blame the manager. But what we do in the transfer market, he has got a say on every single transfer, apparently. If that's right this season, I don't know, with Berta coming in, right? But honestly, crazy as far as I'm concerned, man. Next super chat is from Dwayne. He says, Tyrese Campbell's looking good this season, judges, ? I haven't watched much of Tyrese. Have you, Lee?
Yeah, he's done it. Started off well, scored, but the bloody Sheffield United ain't. They lost both games. But Tyrese has started off well and looking sharp. But it's going to be looking like it's going to be a tough season for Sheffield United at this moment in time. Not been convinced, lost in the cup as well. They've actually lost all 3 games since the new manager's come in, and they need to get their act together very, very quickly at this moment in time. But Tyrese has started off well, looking sharp.
Fair play. NS is a Spurs fan. Big up to you, though, bro. He says, I mean, timing-wise, Trossard getting a pay rise to stay indicates they knew that Havertz was out for a long time. You'll get a decent loan, maybe Sancho. I'm not so sure that's a decent loan, bro, but I get what you're saying. I think the Trossard news potentially makes a little bit more sense if that is a extension without like a what did you call it? An option, sorry. If that is the case and we've just extended it by another year, that makes sense. If we've just kept him on the same contracts and given him a pay rise, that makes zero sense to me whatsoever. So if it was that he was going to potentially be out and now he's going to be staying an extra year, that does make a hell of a lot more sense. And I think because Havertz is out, they're going to say to Trossard, you're going to might have to be playing down the middle as backup striker for us a few times. That could be the case, to be fair. Let's be honest. Any more super chats, let me know. Jump them in the chat. I'm going to do some of these questions now. I'm just going to check the latest on this quick because someone's just said something's happened with David Ornstein, but I don't know if that's actually true, if I'm honest. David Ornstein says there's a number of players Arsenal will have looked at, but in terms of credible options, there's nobody unless it's being done in secret. That's being actively pursued or advanced discussions. That's not to say dominoes can't fall and possibilities emerge that aren't necessarily there now. I've got to disappoint you on names like Rodrygo and Leao. That doesn't mean to say that if some interest comes in one of their players, they don't take a decisive action. What a load of waffle that is.
Yeah.
This is the problem with this Ornstein geezer. I'm sorry. I know people love him and think he's great. What is the point of that tweet there? Listen, we're going to look at these people. We might look at some people. We might do it in secret. It might be some of these names. Don't think it'll happen, but could do. Never know. I could write that.
Yeah, what is this they get fed a little bit of information. Like you be good, and we'll feed you something every now and then. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I know what goes on now. Seen it all.
Sorry, mate. That is absolutely embarrassing to tweet that out, isn't it? On AFC's Day, he said that on Sky. What's it come on? Sky Mobile Transfer Show. So I don't like to go in on a journalist because I appreciate they've got a hard job and a difficult job and all this. But my God, look at the state of this. This is embarrassing. A number of players Arsenal have looked at. Cool. In terms of credible options, nobody that we've really pursued or advanced on. Brilliant. So you don't know anything then, but you think we're looking at players. What's the point of tweeting it out? Next paragraph. I'm not saying dominoes can't fall. So I'm not saying there might not be any more business. Well, there's going to be because there's 13 days left in the window for everyone. I'm going to have to disappoint you on names like Rodrygo and Leao. Oh, we're not getting them then. Well, I don't know. It doesn't mean to say that they won't. If there might be some interest comes back in. What the hell is this? Stop waffling crap. I'm sick of it, man. It's embarrassing. Honestly, that is the most pointless and frustrating thing to say. I could do that job. Arsenal were looking at players, Lee. I'm not going to tell you who because it might be a bit secret. But if these dominoes start falling, I expect them to do something soon. What about Leao and Rodrygo? Oh, I'm sorry to disappoint you. It doesn't look like the moment, but never say never. Can I have 15 grand for saying that, whatever it is he gets? Sorry, man. It's absolutely pathetic, man. Shocking. All of them are in the mud anyway, telling us that Eze's at Arsenal. Ben Jacobs, David Ornstein, Romano. It's happening. Just looking at the structure of the payment. That shirt he's got on doesn't half look like a Tottenham one. Don't look like an Arsenal one. That's for sure. Crazy. Absolutely
crazy.
Indicali is saying his agent's in London tonight. We've literally just broke that. If you rewind, we have just spoken about that. If that's true, fair play. If it's true, fair play. But I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know what to believe anymore. As Robbie hacked Ornstein's account. Bless Robbie, his Transfer Daily shows every morning.
Yeah, legendary they are, like, you know what I mean? So, yeah, legendary.
It is legendary.
Jamie Vardy's available, by the way.
Yeah, on a free, I think. Yeah. You never know, mate. You never know. Okay, let's go through some of these before we do come to a close, judges. Max says, do you still think we can win the league and should Arsenal change their training regime? I'll let you take that one.
Listen, can we win the league? Yes, we can, but I think we're going to need to strengthen. Yeah. Listen, we're not as bad as what we were on injuries. Only the last sort of year, with the year before, we didn't get so many. So we'll have to just. I think something's got to be looked at the training. If you keep getting injuries in training, that's not a good sign, Dan. Getting injured, like you injuries you can sort of. You can't control injuries in a game. That happens, but you can sort of control it in training. Do you know what I mean? And no, so they've got to sort that out, like, you know. And if it keeps happening, they're not going to win nothing, like, you know.
Facts. Let me do these two questions together, and I will put them to you, actually, Lee, because you were talking on this earlier. Robert says, let's give Bournemouth Reece Nelson and add some money for Semenyo. And then Real has asked, would you take Rafael Leao at AC Milan or Semenyo? Who's better out of the two?
Oh, I'm just gonna, you know, if you like it or not, I'm gonna go Semenyo because I've seen what he can do in the Premier League over the last couple of years. That, you know what I mean, Leo looks a very, very good player. I was very impressed with him on the tour, by the way, in that game that he played. But I'm not 100% struck on him saying, yeah, he's the real deal.
I'll tell you what, if we go in for Nicholas Jackson, I might make a promise that I'll start selling my tickets on here instead, because I can't be asked going to watch that crap.
No, I can't. Don't be silly. That ain't happening.
Marco says here, you think we'll go for Jackson? I'm very worried this will end up happening. If that does happen, that's what will happen for me. Jay says, how many forwards do we need now? There's pressure on Gyökeres. If we don't look, there's pressure on Gyökeres. There's pressure on the whole team, mate. Yeah, this is the problem, Jay. There's pressure on everybody at this club because we have gone way too long without winning trophies, bro. So I'm with you, bruv. How many forwards do we need? We shouldn't actually be looking. Look at the forwards that we've got right now. As things stand, we've got Nelson, Madueke, Saka, Trossard, Martinelli, Gyökeres, Havertz, and Jesus. That's without Ødegaard, Vieira, and all these other guys, Ethan, Max. That's 8 attackers. And I've got to be honest with you, there's not many of them I rate, Judge. I rate
No,
Saka.
that's what I'm saying. It's not like, you know what I mean?
It's not like we ain't got the players. They just ain't good enough, are they?
No, like, you know, look, listen, Nelson's a, you know, decent player, like, you know what I mean? Like, but as much as I like Reece and, you know what I mean, he's a nice guy and everything like that, injuries have made that ship sail, if you know what I mean. Like, I'm sorry, it has, you know what I mean? I don't like to say it, like, but it has, you know what I mean? Vieira, like, you know what I mean? Like, looked good at when he first come in, and he's not quite been at it, like, you know what I mean? Like, a lot of things at this football club have got to, you know, listen, these are players that have signed a couple of years ago now. It's like, or have come through the ranks now. It's what he does now, what the manager does now, and what the club do now over the next 2 weeks will tell you everything. You know, oh, I said that last season. I said that last season in January. Like, you know, I still feel let down by last January. Dan, I do that, and then let's get it right. If you want to talk about the club, people are in the chat saying I don't slag off the club and all that. Like, I will slag the club off. Like, instead of spending the £2 million extra or £3 million extra, we've got a centre forward that's gone into the season not fit, right? Yeah. So at the end of the day, which could cost us because, like, you'd rather save a couple of £1 million, right? That I've not been too happy with. On the back, I'm not spending anything in the January transfer window. That Gyökeres deal should have been done 4 weeks before it was, Dan. Simple as that. Like, we're great deal, hang around for a price and everything like that. Like, you know what I mean? Do you mean I'm a disgrace? How dare you say something like that?
You're a disgrace, Les. Is he mucking around? Has he been?
I don't know. Tell me why I'm a disgrace. Why am I a disgrace? Why am I a disgrace? Like, you know, I'm not moving the goalposts or nothing. Like, you know what I mean? What do you want me to? What do you want me to say here? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I've just said I'm not happy with what's gone on. What else do you want me to do?
Go on, then. Tobar Talks, explain what he said that's a disgrace. Then I don't get it.
Yeah, and also, why am I changing the goalposts? Why am I changing the goalposts? You know what I mean? Like, I've said I'm not happy about certain things. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I want us to be successful. I want us to be, you know, winning the league. I don't see Arsenal winning the league with his current squad.
No, I agree. He disappeared, funny enough, when we asked him. Let's change the subject a little bit with this question. What's your opinion on the balance of our midfield? Are we getting the best out of Declan Rice? You know my thoughts on this, Lee. I don't see the point in me going on about it again. So I'll give this one to you. What are you telling me?
No, I wasn't impressed with it on Sunday. But, you know what I mean? Like, it's one game. I felt that we was too open in that game. Needs to be sorted out.
I agree. Apparently, Morgan Rogers is being linked with Arsenal online everywhere now. I'll take him. I like Rogers a lot. Would you take him, Lee?
You know what I think of him. Like, if we sign Morgan Rogers, I'll go and buy the third kit, which I don't and I love. I actually like the third kit, but don't like the collars. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll get my dressmaker who used to work for me to cut the collars off, make it into a roll neck, and put his name on the back. There you go.
There we go. I like him a lot as well. Scouse Gooner. Dan, can you give my new channel a shout out, please? Absolutely, we can, mate. Scouse Gooner TV, people. Make sure you go and show some love.
Yeah, give him a good look. Go and give it a good look.
We've got to support and big up the Arsenal community. So let's make sure we go and get Scouse Gooner TV up to 1,000 subscribers. Big up to you, bro. Okay, Jack has said the following. Do you think they might put a release clause or something in Trossard's contract to make it easier to sell next year? I mean, I don't know what you think about this contract thing. I think maybe there is. I think that the only two reasons is we're keeping him and Martinelli, or we're selling Martinelli and bringing in a left winger, because you wouldn't be signing Trossard and then selling him this window, would we? So either Martinelli's going or no one's going, in my opinion.
We ain't going to get rid of Martinelli now, are you? What's the point of that?
I don't know.
No, like, you know, listen, Trossard. Like, why are a lot of people out there wanting to sell Trossard? I don't understand that. Like, you know what I mean, I understand to sell Trossard with a year left of his contract. I get that, but not now. You know what I mean, like, if it's what we think it is, he's extended it by a year. I've got no problem with it.
It's either we're selling Martinelli and keeping Trossard, we're keeping both of them and signing no one, or we're keeping both of them and signing someone else on top of them. I don't know. I don't know what one it is. I don't know. I'm just confused by it.
The squad's short now. You've got no Havertz for a year, so the squad's not is light, isn't it? So you've got to sign somebody.
Yeah. Nicholas says, why don't we use Martinelli as a backup striker and sign Rodrygo? That would be my dream now, is to go and get Rodrygo, and then if Martinelli stays, he plays as the centre forward because he ain't doing nothing on the left. That is a great shout, to be honest. Geordie Toon for life. I love this one, Lee. He says, Dan, why don't you bid £130 million for Isak? Newcastle might sell to Newcastle. Liverpool, that's a different story. Go on, bid for him. As a Newcastle fan, I would love to get Isak. I mean, if you said to me now, we're going to buy Isak and nobody else, of course, that's what I'm going for. But I don't know what's happening there. I don't think Newcastle are going to sell him. I think if he does go Liverpool, it will be literally last day. And Liverpool are going to be a bit pissed off with this because they want to get him in and mould it in for the season. Because if he comes in now, I mean, I said to me mate Lee yesterday, I said the only good thing about this Isak stuff is that he ain't going to play against Arsenal this season more than once, is he? Because he can't play against. If he's at Liverpool, he ain't going to be at Liverpool by the time we play him or fit to play. He ain't going to be at Newcastle fit to play when we play Newcastle. We got him in literally in the next couple of weeks. And that means he's only going to be playing one more time against us at home. So that's the only good news about Isak. If we don't sign him this season, he'll only play against us once because he ain't.
Yeah, that is very true. Like, you know what I mean, he might be if he stays at Newcastle, he's got 28 days. You know, I mean, before you know, I mean, there's an international break in between that as well. Like, you know, what I mean, he wouldn't be up and ready. Because I don't care what anybody says. He's training on your own. It's not the same. He's not had no game time or whatever like. So he might be just being available. He's not going to be at his best come. Is it the 28th of September we play him? Something like that. So it's about. You know what I mean? Like, he's not. Well, whatever happens, he's not playing for a game till the 1st of September. Then obviously, like, then he'll probably go away with Switzerland, I suppose. Get a little bit, and then come back 14th. Nah, I think you're right, Dan. I don't think he's going to be right. It might be available, but not not at it sort of thing.
Exactly. Listen, we've got 4 super chats left before we come to a close. T says, come on, gents. I'm not a big fan of Arteta, but blaming him for injuries is crazy. We want him out, but we are clutching. I don't think either of us did say that he was absolutely 100% to blame. But what I'm saying is if Havertz comes and has been injured in training due to intensity, then you will have to point the fingers at Mikel Arteta and say, why is that the case? I'm not saying that Havertz should be sat in a chair while everyone runs around, but at the same time, when you've come back from serious injuries, you do have to be careful. You do have to be careful, in my opinion. But there we go. Chaitanya says, instead of getting a striker replacement for Havertz, why don't we sign a proper attacking midfielder, a number 10, and a left winger? So basically, he's saying instead of going for a striker now, why don't we go for like Rodgers and Rodrygo? Instead of a lump sum money on a striker. I don't think we're going to be spending an amazing amount of money on any of these players now. I've got to be honest with you. I think we're going to be looking, which makes the Madueke signing even crazier, by the way. But I think more realistic target would be, let's say, Semenyo and Vlahovic. One of which is a loan with an option. The other one is like 40 million, 50 million, something like that. That's what I think we could end up doing.
That would be good. That would be good.
Well, it'd be better than what we got at the moment, which is F all. Let's be real. So Farhan says, wishing a quick recovery for Kai. Period. Maybe it's a good thing for us fans if we have to sign an attacker. Yeah, look, I don't want anyone to be injured, but at the same time, everybody said, are we happy with the attack? I don't think anyone was still, even with Gyökeres. They weren't happy with the backup. A lot of people, I remember, people saying we need 2 strikers. We do now. We do now because the other ones are injured, mate, aren't they? So do you think we're going to get a striker, Lee? Or do you think we're going to get a winger? Or do you think we're going to get both?
Well, we need both. We need both. If Havertz is out for a year, we need 2.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I agree. I absolutely agree. This one comes in. Dwayne says, Tyrese Campbell's the League Cup tied judges. Is that right? You might have to call your mate Mad Dog at Newcastle to see if we can hijack the Isak deal.
I'd love to do that. Like to, you know what I mean? Yeah, like Tyrese is obviously cup side come on as a sub in that game. So we can't get Tyrese. Love to get Tyrese, you know what I mean? Equality that would. Listen, I can't, they only, they're not saying that. All I know is that when we was in Singapore, they were disappointed with what was happening with Isaac. And he would only go, that was what was mentioned, if the right price, if stumped up. There you go. I don't know what that price is, but that was what was coming out of the Newcastle camp. I can tell you that.
I'd love it now. I'd love to go and slap 130 million down to get Isak, but I know this club too well. Arsenal ain't doing that, mate. Let me tell you that. Kyle, last super chat of the day, last question of the day. Kyle says, do you think Gyökeres will be Mudryk 2.0? No way. Absolutely no way. Crikey. One game, we're asking, comparing to Mudryk. No, that's not going to happen. Trust me. That was a disaster, that Mudryk thing. The whole thing from start to finish. Was a disaster, and now we all know what's happened to him. So no, absolutely not, man. Look, I think we're going to bring in one player, judges.
Right.
That's what I think.
One's better than none.
One is better than none. I feel deflated today, mate.
It's a big kick in the old goal.
A bit of a shitty day today, isn't it? And look, I'm not a huge Kai Havertz fan. I don't want any players injured. I don't want anyone getting injured at the club. Like we've got all these players. We need fit. We're supposed to be trying to go for trophies here. We can't do it if players are injured, So I don't know. It's a mad one. Quicker, we probably will do another show. Excuse me, before the weekend. But what are you saying for Leeds, bruv? Quickly.
Got to win it. I think we've got to be a little bit. I think obviously we've got to win it. That's a stupid thing to say, but I think we've got to be a bit. We've got to have the performance as well. I know we won on Sunday, but we didn't have the performance. But I do feel at home against Leeds. First game of the season at the Emirates, we need to put on a bit of a show.
Yeah, look, we got to. And I'm looking at Arteta now to sort the attack out. That's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at that, and I'm praying that we're going to actually see some free-flowing football, because I've been really bored, Lee, if I'm honest.
We need to see that. We do need to see that.
Yeah, because my time in the Emirates last season, I weren't entertained other than a handful of games. Manchester City at home, Real Madrid. I remember thinking, yeah, I'm quite happy with these. But unfortunately, mate, the other games, I can't really tell you many that I enjoyed. And how many games did we drop points at home last season through pitiful performances, whether it was Everton, whether it was Bournemouth, whether it was West Ham? You know, it was poor, wasn't it? You know, so Leeds are a good side, by the way. I don't think people should be expecting.
Not going to be easy. It's a good test for us. I think it's a good test for us. It's a good game for us to start off with. I'm very, very happy with it. You know what I mean? Like we'll give us a test. That's what we want. We want to be tested and come through it in flying colours.
Absolutely. Listen, we're going to leave it there, people. We're going to send you over to Rants. Rants and Saeed are having a chat at the moment, so go show them some love. Go say Dan Potts and Lee Judge's raid and go and show them some support. And Lee, I'll let you have the last word.
Yeah, go over there and just say, like, you know, you played well, but you lost. That's all I want you to say, like, yeah. We'll talk about. We'll see what we'll let you know. We'll speak after what's happened. We know that by what's happened with Kai Havertz, and we're hopefully now see a few things going on in the next few days. But listen, try and keep your heads up, everybody, and hopefully Arsenal will do the business in the next few days, and we'll feel a little bit happier.